And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another series in Sharing Your Journeys. So, I have my amazing friend on. So, most of you know, me and Junius, I always say Junius, his name is Junius. I just find it quite hard to say Junius every time. But yeah, so as most of you know, obviously, me and Junius get along really, really well. I've seen him live, I've seen him in person. He's so beautiful. So I'm so grateful and so happy he's here today. So welcome, Junius.
Thank you. And I don't know if you noticed, but my hands are black right now because I'm wearing my Soni Panda X hosiery gloves.
I see the little logo.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And I must say, they did an incredible job with helping to get on my triple layers of my Sony Panda X tights that I'm wearing today.
Oh, I'm
Um,
glad. I'm glad to hear.
well, I mean, I would say actually, there's sextuple layers going on right now between myself and the leg model slash leg mannequin. So I'll give you just a quick overview since we're in by Sony Panda
Yes.
X. So along with the hosiery gloves, which I do use daily, if I may say.
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh yes, I see the difference. There's a huge difference. I had hosiery gloves given to me when I was at another Tice boutique many years ago. Never took them out the package. Actually, really nice. Never took them out the package because I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I'll use my hands. But when I started using yours, when I started using by Sony Panda X hosiery gloves regularly, I was like, okay, I see the difference now. Like
Yeah.
when I clean up, when I'm in the process of organizing my actual tights room, and I use these hosiery gloves
Mhm.
as far as handling all of my tights, not just putting them on, but actually picking them up because you can get snags, hangnails, any kind of anything, and your tights are done. So thank you for these. These are absolutely amazing.
Oh no, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad the fact that you actually are using them. No, like
Oh yeah.
because to be fair, like I mean, don't get me wrong, I use them like all the time on my hosiery, but it's like because obviously like bamboo cotton gloves, I use them for moisturizing my hands at night now as well. So not only have they become like my hosiery gloves, they're now full of creams and everything as well. So I'm having to wash them regularly because it's like I'm using them multi-purpose for everything. So it's just nice to hear. It's just so nice to
Yes.
hear.
Good, good for gardening, good for driving race cars, like any type of thing that you would need, washing dishes, any type of thing you would need gloves for. By Sony Panda X has
Yes,
you covered. So yes,
yes.
and they help me put on, if I may say quickly, my, like I said, triple layer. So the top layer is Starry Night tights, of course, and then I'm actually double layering Starry Night tights. So the layer underneath the Starry Night tights, and then I'm wearing the Parisian underneath that as the first layer. So
Oh,
yes, and on the leg mannequins are, I double cuddled it. So cutler tights here, and then I've actually got a layer here of cutler on top, and then underneath that is the After Dark in black.
oh, I love. I've never done the double cuddler, and now I want to. I
Oh,
actually want to.
double cutler is like, when I travel, of course I
Yeah.
told you, like, I wear it even if it's layering underneath another tight. The
Mm.
cutler tights stay in the mix like every day because they're just such a great all around tight. They're great for at home lounging around. They're great for if you need to go to an after five event, or if you like want to try, like for traveling, they're just the most comfortable. Get on airplanes and trains and
Yeah.
cars and all that all the time. It is like just that comfort, and the cutler tights provide that. So I double up with the cutler quite a bit, and especially in my touring. So try it out. Try
Yes,
it out.
no, I need to. I mean, I like lounging in it anyway, but when it does get really cold, because in the UK at the moment, our weather's just it's weird. It's weird and wonderful. And it is, there's days where it is like it's freezing and you only think, oh, but never once did I think to double cuddler. So yeah, I'm actually gonna try that and I'm gonna let you know how I get on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm. So anyway, so what I wanted to do was basically ask the first and foremost question, which is obviously on everybody's mind. So how did you start your hosiery journey? And just tell us, or just basically tell us all about it.
Yeah. So technically, if I mean, just like on the technical side, my hosiery journey started as a baby. I was one of, of course, there's over many years of tradition to, whether boy or girl, to put babies in tights because it keeps
Yeah.
their legs warm. And, it's just, I mean, you've seen them sure in photos over the course of generations. And so I was one of those babies. And so there's pictures to prove it. There's a couple floating around. I have one, and then there's another lying around somewhere. Yeah. So anyway, as a baby, that's kind of how I always say I've been wearing tights since I was a baby. And so, I mean, I say it funnily, but it's
Yeah.
true, but from what I remember, I remember even as a child, and I was the youngest in my family, and I have an older sister and an older brother. My older sister was a ballet dancer as I was coming up, and to the point where when she was a teenager, she was dancing professionally at like 15.
Wow.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
amazing. And so of course, I mean, when your sister's a ballet dancer,
Yeah.
there's tights everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, even just my mother and us living in Chicago, and like even my dad with long underwear, like just
Yeah.
that thing of like, I mean, everybody, if they weren't wearing tights, they were wearing long underwear around the house, in the wintertime especially. And so um for whatever reason, that always interested me. And I mean, even I remember as a child the feeling of wearing like long underwear around the house, and just I don't know, I've always felt like my legs have had some type of extra level of sensitivity to the touch. And so how it felt and how it looked even then as a child, I remember that. And that's really, because I mean, as a baby, I don't remember wearing tights as a baby. And so I just remember, like I said, as a kid, maybe around like 7 or 8 or something like
Mhm.
that. I remember that. And yeah, that was always, it was like, that was the thing. I remember that was the thing that like got me into the feeling of wearing. So that's the wearing side of it. And then I'll come back to that. But then like, as far as even the visual side of it, tights always intrigued me. Like I always loved comic books for that reason.
Yeah.
I love Jean Grey from X-Men and like her like stripe design of like green and yellow and all that. And I mean, like I say, even on the ballet side with my sister and all that, I mean, I was seeing tights all the time. So it was just always something that intrigued me. And I would say now thinking back on it, like just having an artist's mind, if you will,
Mhm.
understanding shape and all of that, like, and I feel like the leg being the longest part of the body, I mean, it's a beautiful part of the body.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the body. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just remember even as a child always being interested in that. And then when I was a teenager, maybe my freshman year in high school was the time that I remember like really being interested in wearing tights regularly. Like I remember the day that like I tried them again, from being a small child, and then I
Mhm.
tried them again like on my own. Um, of course I was by myself and all that.
Yeah.
And I remember that day and that feeling, and I never forgot it. It was like the greatest feeling ever. And
Yeah.
so from that, I started like I loved it so much that and mind you, this is the '90s. This is like the mid '90s, mid to
Mm.
late. And so I remember even being a teenager, like when I would go grocery shopping with my mom or something, I'd break off into like the department store that was nearby and go and like buy tights. And I remember like the first couple of times the cashier like laughing at
Wow.
so yeah,
Seriously.
oh yeah, definitely. Like so yeah, it wasn't like my experience was like, buying ties for the first time. Yeah, oh, this is really cool. And like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
not. Like I got laughed at. And so I remember the lady, I can still see it to this day, like the lady looking at me and like she looked at me again. She looked at me, looked down and looked at me again and just started laughing to herself. And it was like a green pair of opaque tights and a blue pair of opaque tights that I bought. It's 25 years ago, and I'm remembering this stuff. It's kind of crazy, but interestingly enough, it was from that being laughed at even that first time
Mhm.
that it just like ignited something in me.
Yeah.
To where it was like this kind of like, oh, okay, so this is how you see it, okay, and it was a little bit of this like kind of fu attitude I'm going to do what I want. And so every week when we go to the grocery store after that, I would go in there and I would go buy tights, and that same lady would be there. And after a while, she stopped laughing. She just would like ring me up and like, I'd be on my way. But every week,
Yeah.
I would go in there just to like, get comfortable with doing something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started. And then in high school, I mostly wore under my clothes and stuff like that. But because I went to an all boys high school, so of course you had to wear pants and all that. But like, yeah, but even being an athlete in high school, like athletic tights and all that, so they were still like always around. Just not footed, but I mean, and during the school day, I wore footed tights under all my pants and all that stuff. But there'll be times where I would like go out at night and there was a trail like by my house growing up. And I was sometimes just to again be comfortable with like wearing tights outside, I would like go outside. I remember this, like I would go outside with pants on, but tights under my pants, and then like with a book bag, and then like ditch the pants, put them in my book bag, and just like walk this trail with just tights on, just to see like how it felt and to get comfortable with that. So I started doing that when I was around like 15, and it's those little things that were the building blocks to get me comfortable like I am today. It was really those things, that those little I mean, I think that's a big part of why I am as comfortable as I am with the way I do it, was because, thinking back on those times. It's funny, you got me like reminiscing. Like, but really like thinking back on those times, it was those things that were the building blocks, getting laughed at, and not just by that lady, by like, multiple people, because then it got to a point where like I would still do the book bag thing to walk out the house. But like, cause I didn't want to get laughed at by my family at the time or nothing like that. But yeah, I would do that. I would like take a book bag and then like ditch the pants, put them in the book bag. And then, little by little, I would do that more and more. And like, I guess even through college, kind of a similar thing, but I got more comfortable with it in college. Like college was where like the ripped jeans phase, where I started like ripping my jeans and wearing tights under like all these patterns and stuff like that. And it was those times where people would ask me, like, even in college, like, are you wearing tights under there? And I would, be like, yeah. So it's again, these things, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to 2000 and 12. And there's of course a bunch of big events in between, but I'll fast forward to like the major thing, which was like maybe 2012, or 13 or something like that, where Cecilia de Raphael, I started to post more on social media with just me in tights. Like, and I do it in these artistic ways to make it look all artistic so people wouldn't get all weirded out, but you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. But I would do it just because like I always had this feeling, even from like a young person, a teenager, of like, I have to do this. I just don't know how. To know at the time how I was gonna like pull this off. But I knew even then, like it was a vision then that I had, and it was just like, I gotta figure out a way to do this. And so Cecilia de Raphael comes into the picture in like maybe 2013 or 14. And it was from that I started wearing tights regularly, like the way I do it. I wore more with shorts back then, even though I would wear them like I wear them now, but like I would kind of go half and half with like wearing tights with shorts and just wearing tights, without. And as that evolved, like I just kind of ditched the shorts. And so even I may pull out some tights and shorts pics every once in a while because the shorts are a good look. So I just kind of ditched them because I felt like I wanted to be a soldier for just like wearing tights. I feel like it's something that should not be frowned upon. It's not something that should be looked at as strange or anything like that. So I just kind of became an ambassador for that. So that's it, why I even ditched the shorts, because I was just like, no, I want to be, if I'm going to be it, I want to be all of it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever really seen you in shorts. That's the thing. Like, I've only ever known you. Like, so for some context, I've known Junius for so long. Like, this is like on my previous Instagram page that's kind of no longer there anymore. Like, me and Junius got in touch ages ago, and even from then, I rarely ever, not honestly, not even rarely, I've never seen you in shorts. I've only ever known you wear tights as it is. And I think that's what I really adore about you, is the fact that, one, you're so different, And two, it's one thing I love about it is you're so confident, and that just as a woman, that empowers me to see you it just in your form owning it. And it's like, yeah, and it's like every time I see your pictures, I see that come through every single time to be like, yeah, this guy is confident and he's like, he's getting it. And it's just so nice to see. It's so refreshing to see. So I can't have ever seen you in short. Now I kind of want to just to see what you look like.
Well, you know what this means? This means I'm gonna, at the very least, that means the next this so okay. You heard it first. This week's Throwback Thursday is gonna be pictures of me in shorts and tights from back in the day.
Yes. Oh yes, that I definitely want to see. I'm waiting to see.
I've got some cool ones. I think I feel like I started pretty good, in that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like things that we've talked about previously, where I feel like even though I wear tights the way I do, there's nothing wrong with wearing tight, like whatever way that you wear them is really okay. Like I feel like as long as you're confident with what you're doing, like it's not, it shouldn't have to be a fear thing. Like if you want to wear tights under a suit, if you want to wear tights under shorts, if you want to wear them by themselves, whatever, like just do what you feel comfortable, and what just do what makes you feel comfortable with it. And that's really how I feel about it. You don't have to necessarily wear tights like I do, but do it how your vision sees you doing it, and because I mean, my thing is because I think that's the beautiful thing about creativity. When you do that, then you open up new avenues for other people to kind of see it a different way, and I feel like everybody has the power and the creativity to do that. You just have to tap into it. You have to be aware of yourself enough to tap into that, and everybody has that ability to take the things that have influenced them. Like, I mean, I have influences and you do, and we all do. But the key is to take those influences and like take it further, find something new to do with it. It's like I understand where I am in the tights world and like where I stand with it and the whole thing. I think I have a pretty good understanding of that. But my hope is that one day when Junius Paul is long gone and he can't wear tights anymore, I mean, unless I go to the grave in my tights, which I think I will.
I
I'm pretty
think you
sure I'm just
will.
you're gonna bury me in my tights. So literally tights forever. Like the hashtag is real. But no, really, like when that day is long gone and my time is long gone, I want somebody to be able to take, maybe the little bit that I've done and
Yeah.
take it further, like, do something new with it, like change the game, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, I really like that. And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. It is just find whatever works for you and feel confident in that. Because it is like so many people sort of say to me, like, Sonia, you actually don't really have one style. And I'm like, yeah, I don't, because I pride myself in having so many different types. Because one, I dress on my mood. It depends on, like, for instance, today I'm feeling really girly, and so it's like, yeah, necklace on, got earrings on, and I've like really nice sort of floaty dress. But then some days where I'm full on grunge mode, and it is like
Yeah.
rip this, rip that, and and you think, bloody hell, what's going on here? But
Yeah.
it's however you feel confident enough to wear it. And plus, also, what I've also found is try new things as well, because I'm kind of this year, what I want to do is get out of my comfort zone, and it is try styles I've never really tried before, or I've tried it many years ago and I hated it. It wasn't me then. Whereas like now, it's like I'd like to give it a go again, mix some hosiery into it, try out different things, because then I suppose you'll find out what you love, what you don't love, what you're kind of teetering on. You're like, oh, do I, don't
Yeah.
I? So yeah, it is. Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. I really do
Mhm.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a burning question, right? So, because I wanted to ask you when I saw you, and then I don't think it ever happened. So, okay, so basically, context again. Junius Pace as part of a band as well, right? Which they're incredible. Honest to God, if you haven't seen them, you need to see them. It is amazing, right? Um, but you know what? So one thing I really, 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 really wanted to ask you was, obviously because you wear hosiery on stage, whenever you perform, what did your band members think of that? Like, when you first sort of what I mean, obviously I don't know the full journey, so I would like you to obviously just sort of explain like the journey with them. But also, what did they think to all that? Because surely I think I know from obviously experience from talking to people, not everyone's open to it, and especially men. Like even when I talk to men now, they're like, "What?" And it's like, "Oh, God, okay, I'm gonna have to like do some serious explaining." So I just wanted to know, like, how was all that like in terms of like when the band obviously first came together and you were wearing hosiery and the whole journey thereon.
Yeah, that's an incredible question, Sony. That is an incredible question. One that has never been asked to me before, actually.
No way.
Um, yeah, no, seriously. So currently everybody loves it.
Yeah.
It has become my identity. It's become not my full identity, but I won't say that, but like it has become it is, because your identity consists of so many things about yourself. That's the reason why I say that. But the fact that I wear tights every day has become such a part of, I would say, how people see me.
Yeah.
Um, like it is true. It really has become a part of my identity as far as the world and
Okay.
music and even fashion and all that. So I'm grateful that it is to that point because I mean you know how much I love to wear tights, and
Yeah.
so excuse me, and so the fact that it has reached that point to where people don't see me, they don't even imagine me not wearing tights.
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative of that. I just am because I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't
Yeah.
have to think. I don't those these thoughts that like you're thinking right now. Like I haven't thought these thoughts in years. But I did have these. So going back to
Mhm.
answering your question, just kind of segueing into that, I did have those thoughts for a time because I feel like anybody that is trying things that maybe haven't been tried in this period or like just things that people aren't used to. I'll say people, things,
Mhm.
especially fashion wise, because you're talking about the eye and what you see, and people react, to what they hear, and people react to what they see the quickest, I'll say.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about visual, it can catch people off guard. It's like anything that you see that you've never seen before. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's interesting. Like I kind of, and this goes back to the tights with shorts. Like I kind of like just slowly yielded my way in. I had a feeling even back then, 10 years ago that um if I because I made a decision one day that I was just gonna do this. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
tired of wearing like under my pants or like, just kind of hinting at it here and there,
Yeah.
ripped jeans. I mean, all that's cool. It's all great and fine. But like I just got tired of that because I saw something more, for myself as far as that goes. And so I just made the decision one day, like, I'm just gonna do this. And whoever's with me is with me, and whoever isn't, isn't.
Yeah.
God bless you. And so, yeah, I started posting pictures. That's when I started posting. I'll go back. It's funny that with this story that I'm kind of chronicling, I'm trying to chronicle as quick as I can. I will post things to go along with that in my timeline as they go. So, like,
Yeah.
anyway, I started posting these pictures little by little. And even in the comments, like, I can remember the comments being at first like, are those tights or like, yo, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, there were those reactions. But even still, there were so many people that loved it at the same time that there was enough love for me to be like to just get that confidence to keep going even though I was confident in myself. When you get that from other people, it just
Yeah.
makes it that much more. And so I started doing that more and more, and just to kind of like let people know like, yo, I'm about to like really kind of come in on this thing, so I'm giving y'all warning shots. And so as a musician though, it started again like with that, and then with kind of wearing shorts with tights and like slowly just kind of getting my way in there. And then when I got the official ambassadorship from Cecilia de
Yeah.
Raphael, that sealed the whole deal. It was just like, yeah, I'm now working for a company and I wear tights for them and I model tights for them.
Yeah.
And so like, this is it. This is what it is. And that was the thing that just like catapulted it, because I felt like, okay, now like I represent a major tights company.
Yeah.
If I never gave myself full license to wear tights the way I want to, the time is now. And so I just took that and literally ran with it.
I'm glad you. Do you know what? I'm so glad you did because it's when I saw all that, I was like, "This is." Do you know what? This is amazing, and it's a huge stepping stone for a lot of. And I know obviously it would be for a lot of people, especially men, cross dressers, transgenders, or however you kind of like identify. I know that is a huge thing, especially because first when I saw it, I was proud as hell, thinking, oh my God, like this guy has like he's made it and he's still making it. And it is just, and I can understand that would be a huge thing just for just the average kind of Joe or John or whoever, just to sort of see, to be like, well, if he can do it, surely I can. So I always find that like it's a very positive thing. I would never see any negativity in that. I find that a very, very positive, empowering thing. So yeah, just bravo, bravo, bravo.
Back to you, Sony.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It
right,
is
right.
amazing. But no, no, thank you know what, thank you for sharing that insight, because it is, I've always thought about it thinking like, oh yeah, I just like I wonder. Only because it's like when I mean, I'm not a musician, I don't have a band, but it is just like when I used to in my previous job when I used to work in the NHS, it was like I would go in dressed up like every day, obviously different styles. And I remember everyone would be like, oh, okay, what are you wearing today? Oh, okay, da da da. Oh, okay. Like I would get asked questions all the time, like, so why do you always wear ties? Why do you always wear this? Da, da, da. And it's like, I mean, obviously I was confident in myself, but it was the more I saw people sort of like intrigued by it, ask me questions by it, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool. I'm kind of seeing a bit of influence here. And the next thing you know, more of the office were wearing it. And it was just like, this is cool. So it's one of those where it's like when you're kind of, especially in a close group, and I say the office because we were very, very close.
Yeah.
It was at first they were like, why do you wear it like all the time? And it's like, oh, okay, well, I review, I do this, I've got passion for it, blah, 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 and whatever. And it was just, they understood it more. And then, and it got to the point where it was like, okay, what are you wearing today? What are you going to wear today? Can we try and like match up? Can we try and coordinate? And it's like, oh, this is so sweet. So it's just nice to hear it from like a male perspective. And especially being in a band where it's, you're in new places all the time, seeing new faces all the time, and making a huge impression all the time. So yeah, it's just yeah, it was just a burning question I had to ask.
Yeah, because they're all artists, and so it's like from an artist perspective, it's
Hmm.
like it's I get more than anything, I get, man, keep rocking your tights. I think that's like the most amazing thing ever. I get so
Yeah,
much encouragement from musicians, especially because it's so different, and it's just like that. You'll be surprised how many people come up to me and it's like, man, I wish I would have thought of that, and I get that
yeah.
quite a bit. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that to brag in any way, of course, but
Hmm.
just to say that, like, these are the things that come with um, just operating in your own creativity and your own gifts and in your own vision. Definitely. And the same thing happens to me as far as what you're talking about. There'll be so many times, like, if um, women know that I'm playing a show,
Yeah.
then they'll like wear their best tights just to show me, like, because they know tights is my thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so it's like that happens all of the time. Or like I get tagged in posts where like somebody I know is wearing some amazing tights and they'll like, just tag me in it just to, show me. It's like, do these
yeah.
approve? Like, do you approve of these? And I'm just like, of course. Like, wear
Oh,
what you want. But just to have that effect where you really
yeah.
have that influence and effect on people, to where they start to show their own way of wearing tights. And it's like there's so many times where people who may not have worn tights as much prior, they'll
Yeah.
start wearing tights more, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, what was I missing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens so much. Where it's like, I'm gonna be wearing tights all the time. That happens quite a bit. So I'm appreciative of all those things. And I mean that when those things happen, it's like mission accomplished. It's nothing
Yeah.
about me or like anything like that. It's about the community. And like, anytime that you get to influence somebody to kind of find their way with it, especially with something like tights, I think that's a beautiful thing. That's
I
my
definitely
job.
agree. I know I definitely agree with what you're saying there. And let me say I was one of them. Like literally, I was like, what's my best pair that I can wear when I go and see Junius play?
And
Literally,
you layered, like, I was like,
and
man,
I
this is
layered.
just
Yes,
the
I
best.
layered.
Thank you so much. That was that
Oh,
was
to
that was really
Junius.
cool. I appreciate that.
Goodness. So my final question that I wanted to ask you, and I'm telling you now, I'm bringing you on for part two at some point. So part two, people, is gonna happen. Um,
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask was, this is something I normally tend to ask. I didn't ask in my last one, unfortunately, just because we got so carried away with conversation. But
Yeah.
it's I tend to always ask if there's a message that you could leave to everyone watching, what would your message be?
What will my message be? My message would be to so yeah, I'll say this, that there's, as far as, for the I'll say this, for the person that is afraid to wear tights or hosiery or anything that they're afraid to do because they're afraid of what people might say, or whatever reaction, um to there's two things I feel like that drive me as far as the decisions I make: love and fear. And you choose which direction you want to go in. And it's not easy. Like, it's, we're human. So I think, you can stray on the fear side. I think it happens as human beings. Like, these are all natural emotions. But what I mean by all of that is, focus on really loving yourself for who you are. And if you love yourself for who you are, then people's opinions won't matter. But it's like, you don't have to be angry at them for their opinions. Like, I'm not angry at anybody for anybody who feels like men shouldn't wear tights or anything like that. Like, I don't have any anger or animosity. And I mean, I've gotten that in messages and DMs and all kind of stuff, but I always respond in compassion and love, because obviously they're coming from a place where if they feel like they need to even express that to me, maybe they're in a different place in life where it's like, they need that kindness from somebody. So it's like, I always try to be kind to people, because it's all about love for me. I just try to really spread love through everything I do. And so but that starts with self, and that's a process. It's a continual process even that I go through. But I would say this, like, the more you get to really love who you are, and the more that you can express that love for other people and the people around you and whoever, then that's really what gives you the freedom to, like, be your full self. you know it's that love thing, love over fear. And when you have those moments of fear, that's okay too. It's fine, it's natural, like I said. But yeah, those two things, love and fear, and just be mindful of which one that you choose.
I really like, do you know what? I actually really like that. I mean, I say that to everything, I know. I realize I do. But you know what? It's really nice to hear, because it's like I can understand with obviously the amount of DMs that you probably would get, because I mean I get DMs on a certain level, but it's the fact that you go back to it with love. Because it's when I was on a podcast, obviously, that we're releasing at some point. I kind of mentioned, oh, when people do comment and when people do DM, I defend. I'm just in defense mode, because it's like, one, how dare you, like, just scroll on. But it's like, I'm happy to just stand up for that person, whatever photo they're attacking or whatever they've got to say. But it's nice just to sort of hear, actually, there's compassion and love. And it's like, you know what, you've actually really hit something with me now. I'm glad you've said that. I'm actually really glad you said that, because now I've
Oh, certainly.
got me thinking differently.
And with that said, I feel like, because I love myself, if I
Mm.
feel like somebody is to a point where I need to block them or whatever the case, I love myself enough to where I feel like I'll do what I got to do. But
Mm.
even that is based in love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All of it.
yeah.
Like, it never angers me where it's like, if I feel like I need to block somebody or I need to speak my mind about something, it's never like, because the anger only eats you up inside. And so it's like, but you can still express yourself and be vocal and assertive, if you need to,
Yeah.
so still falls back into love.
It does, yeah, yeah. You know what? I really like that. I actually, no, I really do like that. To be fair, it's something I'm probably going to try and use moving forward. And not
Oh,
just go
please,
on the
please.
defense, and it's like, I'm coming out of love here. I'm speaking out of
Yeah,
love here.
yeah,
No,
that's
I
right.
like that. No, well, do you know what? Thank you so much, Junius, for being on. I really, really appreciate your time and you being here and sharing pretty much most of your journey with us. Obviously, like I said, it's to be continued. We will delve deeper in the
For sure.
second part. But no, honestly, thank you so much for being here. Honest to God, it means so much to me. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sony. The pleasure is always mine, and it's ours. But you already know, it is truly my pleasure. And it was great to see you while on tour. in November. Thank you for coming to the concert. That was really, really, really amazing. And
I'll be there in a heartbeat again. I'm telling you.
well, you know, I'll be
But it
back
was
in
so
London,
good.
so yeah, I'll be letting you know. You know, I'll be back at some point in 2023 for sure. So I'll be letting you know. And always great to chat with you, Soni.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for everybody who's watching as well. Yeah, and yeah, if you do want to get in touch, obviously drop me a comment below wherever you're seeing this, because I will be posting it everywhere. But for now, take care, guys, and thank you so much, Junius, and we'll see you all soon.